Hello there. Good to see you again. Friday already. Goodness me. Practical note. Um, I think we moved on from electrical problems with the church, and we're now moving on to boiler problems, which are again are being fixed. So that's positive. But basically, I think at the moment what we're planning is to get back to church in terms of a service in the sanctuary on the 8th of November. That's the plan. So we've just had a run of things. One's getting the impression that we're not meant to be back in the sanctuary for a wee while yet. So we will endeavour to ensure that the 8th of November does happen, but it comes with the usual caveat. Nicola might just decide that everything's going to, what's the phrase, circuit breaker. One of the things that has happened during the pandemic is a plethora of metaphors that is now in overload proportions. So I don't know. I feel as if, when you look at the cases and you look at the number of hospitalizations, COVID wards are now being formed, having been kind of put to one side and people getting back to normal NHS stuff. Now things are gearing up for what looks like a very definite COVID-19 autumn and winter. So what I'm saying is we are planning to have a sanctuary service on the 8th of November, but don't take that as an absolute guarantee because clearly other things may overtake us. The thing is, as well as all of that, I have to come to terms with the fact that nowadays I can't wait for Advent to start talking about Christmas. Now, part of that is to do with what we were talking about yesterday. The kind of one of the art history commentators, journalists, who is a Christian, was advocating that we boycott Christmas because the thing that it now is so irrevocably different from what it's supposed to be. I think on balance, I would say no. Not because I necessarily disagree with anything he said, but the response is still take every opportunity for the sake of the gospel. Always give people a reason for the hope that you have in Christ. That doesn't mean, however, there aren't real issues to address, given the fact that Christmas is this secular, consumerist time of excess when, financially speaking, this has been a fairly odious and awful year for an incredible percentage of the British population. So what I'm saying is maybe this isn't the Christmas to go overboard, let alone you can't have some Christmas family get together of, 20 folk. But beyond that, maybe we need to recognise that Christmas can't be what it often has become. But I'm suggesting maybe that may very well be a gift from God. Because maybe this Christmas gives us the opportunity to concentrate on the things that actually are important. So, assuming that you kind of recognise the power of yesterday's kind of commentary in terms of the guy from the Telegraph saying how bad Christmas is and how far it is from the Christian roots of it, the fact remains we still have an individual responsibility to do Christmas well. What does that mean for you? What do you need to think about now at the beginning of October to ensure that Christmas isn't something where you get to Boxing Day and you think, from a Christian point of view, is that it? Another Christmas, another turkey, another time of excess. You see, it's your responsibility now to plan for it spiritually, let alone where's the turkey coming from. And you need to plan for it so that you can actually have a genuine Christian Christmas. Think on this. So here's my promise. I'm going to try and not make any reference to Christmas until we're reasonably well into December. Well, December. The difficulty is I don't think you can wait until people start kind of getting Christmas, fully prepared, because then you just have to jump on the jamboree and be part of the whole roller coaster. Do you have, for example, a set of reading notes specifically focused on Advent? Do you have something that you think will take you to the manger in a way that's going to work for you? In what way are the restrictions that COVID-19 are probably going to have going to make it easier or more difficult for you to kind of do the things that you're trying to do? Again, coming back to what they said, worship fully, because it all starts with Jesus and it all ends with Jesus. He's the Alpha and the Omega. Worship fully, spend less. That's a good message to have It's important that folks recognise that Christmas is not about how much money you spend. Spend less and give more. More presents, more hands, more skills, more time. Spend less so that you've got money for the stuff that matters and not the stuff that doesn't. But give more generously, just not financially. Give to what God prompts you to give to. Above all else, do what God did. Love all. We need to plan spiritually the way lots of people plan for the meal and the presents and the wrapping and the decorations and the tree. We need to plan spiritually because Christmas, of all the Christian festivals, is the one that the world will steal from us and give us a poor, sad substitute. We have to plan now because we end up getting on the Christmas roller coaster long before we ever get into anything with regard to church. Clearly, with some politicians talking about Christmas being cancelled, what they mean in effect is the big boozy parties where there's 30 folks in your house and everyone's getting quietly, happily drunk, wearing stupid sweaters. That's definitely not going to happen. And if it does, it's definitely not going to be something that helps stop the virus spreading. But the reality of Christmas is clearly still going to be there. What it's about will still be present because He will still be present. The true light, which gives light to everyone, was coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made through him, yet the world did not know him. Shouldn't be a surprise that the world has a very different version of Christmas, focused on alcohol, food, and excess. The world never recognized Jesus. He came to his own, and his own people did not receive him. But to all who did receive him, who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God, who were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. That's Christmas. And that ain't being cancelled anywhere, or anytime. Save Jesus coming back himself for the second coming. James, wonder what we need to do to prepare for that. Worship fully, spend less, give more, love all. And get ready for Christmas with that in mind. And let's have a good Christmas. Even if it is limited to groups of 6, or whatever the rule is once we get to that stage in December, which is obviously still a very long way away. Until then, go with God, because God definitely goes with you. Bye.